Okie dokie, we are live, we are live, we are live, we are live. Just a quick little boxing talk stream. Won't be going longer than maybe 2 hours maximum. So yeah, man, just wanted to catch up and just have a standard talk about boxing. Haven't done one of these for a little while now. Been a fair old while since we've just had a regular talking stream, boxing chat, whatever you want to call it. But we've had a relatively, I guess, eventful weekend of boxing just gone. Obviously dominated by Jake Paul and, Mike Tyson. Have to be honest, I never watched it. I just basically watched the highlights and that was it. I had no real interest going into it. Felt Jake Paul would probably win. He won. Don't really care, to be honest with you. The fact that somebody could feel shortchanged going into a fight like that to me is crazy. Like, did you expect a real sporting schedule? A real sporting event? What did you expect to go back in a time machine to 1988? I don't get what people expected. You have Mike Tyson, a 58-year-old man who's been through the fucking ringer, against a fresh guy in his prime in Jake Paul. What do you expect? It's crazy. It's crazy, man. That fight didn't need to be fixed. Mike Tyson fans, by the way, I like Mike Tyson as well, but Mike Tyson fanboys are some of the craziest online. They really are. That fight was fixed in the sense of Jake Paul didn't knock him out. He could have knocked him out in the later rounds, from what I saw from the highlights. But, Jake Paul carried the guy. Mike Tyson's 58, get over it. It is what it is, man. As for the Saudi card, though, the Saudi card was a lot better. The Saudi card was good, in my opinion. Had some good fights on there. Chris Billam-Smith, Gilberto Ramirez. Good fight. Ramirez won comfortably. Oscar Collazo on the undercard against knockout CP Freshmark. Collazo did a good job. Barboza Ramirez was decent, as was Farmer versus Zepeda. Good card. So yeah, interesting weekend of fights, man. What's up, Matthew? Thoughts on John Fury? Yeah, I've heard he's gone on a bit of a mad one with, what's his name? Darren Till. Bro, the sooner the Furies get out of boxing, the better. I'm sick to death of John Fury, I'll be honest with you. Sick to death of the guy. Can't stand him. Can't stand the Fury clan, I'll be honest with you. Just don't like him. But yeah, that's another joke fight, right? Darren Till versus fucking Tommy Fury. Okay. Jesus. This is what we're coming to. I'll be honest now, the whole influencer boxing thing, I think it's seen its sell-by date now. It feels like it's forced right now. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it's forced. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, bro? Kyle Webley, what's up? Wanted to get your opinion on how you think Jaron Ennis will do against the 154 champions and top contenders. Interesting one. The fight I want to see is Virgil Ortiz, and neither guy looked particularly special in their last fights. Ortiz has been suffering with inactivity, illness, etc. Whereas Ennis hasn't really got the opponents at 147. Didn't look great against Karen, to be honest. I was expecting a lot more from him. So both guys are going into that fight with less hype than they would have done if they fought 2 years ago or so. But for me, it's a very interesting bout. I think it'll be a barn burner, I will say that. I think it'll be a barn burner. I can't really say who I think's going to win. I can't really say right now. Ortiz struggled against Boachuk, and in many people's opinion, they felt, a lot of people had him losing that fight. But Boachuk at the same time is a lot better than a guy like Karen, so it's really hard to say, man. In regards to Boots, I think he's killing himself to make 147. So I'm not convinced he's fighting at his physical best at 147. Going to 154 might make him a little fresher, a little quicker, better punch output, etc. So I don't really know. But for me, Boots versus Ortiz is the fight to make. I haven't really got an interest in seeing Boots unify at 147. I don't think the opponents are there. Like Brian Norman, like, respectfully, who is that guy? Who is he? Stanionis could be interesting just because Stanionis can punch. But again, it's not exactly a riveting fight to think about, you know what I mean? I'd rather just see... Listen, just make Ortiz versus Ennis, and we'll see whether chips fall kind of thing, you know? That's what I think. What's up, Lee? How you doing, bro? I'm doing good. Seagull, what's up? Benavidez versus Morrell with Fulton Figueroa. Yeah, that's on the same card, right? That's on the same card. That's a good card. Fulton Figueroa rematch. I actually had Figueroa winning the first fight. I felt he outworked Fulton, but it was a very good fight. Where they're at right now, Fulton hasn't exactly looked great since his return. You know, his last fight after the Inoue bout, he didn't look great. People felt he lost. I only saw bits and bobs of that fight, but he didn't look great. And, yeah, Figueroa, he's not exactly been super active or anything, so that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. But Benavidez Morrell, again, you go back to their last performances. I don't think either guy looked particularly great in their last fights. Morrell struggled with, what's his face? Hot Rod Kaladzic. And I don't think Benavidez looked great against a half-cooked Usyk. So, again, both guys are going into that fight coming off, like, subpar performances. I think Benavidez, his punch output, his stamina, and his ability to keep that up throughout a 12-round fight might see him through. But Morrell can punch. He's got decent power. And we haven't really seen Benavidez take many shots full-blooded because Usyk can punch, but Usyk wasn't really letting his hands go like that in that fight. That's why I was so disappointed in that bout, because Benavidez was winning the fight through halfway. He was winning the fight throughout, but the last 4 rounds or so, Benavidez to me looked spent, and we never saw Usyk really try to test him. So, you know, I'll be interested to see what happens if Morrell catches Benavidez clean, which I think he will do if he comes to fight. How good is Benavidez's chin? We don't really know yet, to be honest with you. We don't really know. I'd favour Benavidez, but I wouldn't rule out Morrell. It's a good fight. Yeah, exactly, KTS, exactly. John Fury, the fat pikey, yeah, exactly. I'm hoping Joe Egan turns up and puts it on John. I'd actually pay to watch that fight. So that's the sort of freak show fight I can get behind, your old da. That's the sort of freak show fight I can get behind. Yeah, Fury's lifestyle is definitely caught up to him. It's whether he can have one last hurrah against Usyk in the rematch. That's really all it comes down to. That's his last fight regardless. That's the last fight where, in my opinion, he'll get anything out of himself. I think after that, it truly is downhill. You know, I think it truly is downhill. Maybe he can squeeze one more performance out. One more maybe, but that's it. And even then, I don't think it's probably enough to beat Usyk. So I don't think Fury was bad in the first fight, I'll be honest. I don't think he was bad at all. But he needs to do more than that. Can he do it? I don't know. Yeah, I've got Benavidez as well, Josh. I've got Benavidez as well. I prefer the work rate and the consistency with it over 12 rounds. But, you know, like I said earlier, man, we've not really seen Benavidez get hit by a puncher. And like you said, I'm not saying Morrell even hits that hard, but I'm pretty convinced he hits harder than most guys Benavidez has fought. He doesn't hit harder than Usyk, but Usyk never really let go of his shots like that in that fight. So, we'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting bout. 286 Project, what's up, bro? Haven't heard no word on Buatsi's next opponents. Also, outside of Beterbiev and Bivol, what are your thoughts on the light heavyweight division? Yeah, light heavyweight right now is kind of slim outside those two guys. I'm assuming Morrell and Benavidez are fighting at 175. So that's another name. Whoever wins that fight is like the next best contender. So that's a name, especially if it's Benavidez, because he will bring some sort of attention. And he's a decent fighter. But outside of that, there's really nothing of consequence. In terms of prospects, well, Ben Whittaker has fell flat on his face. What other notable prospects are out there at 175? Imam Kartayev, who's alright, powerful dude, but he's not exactly a guy I would stake my hopes on, so to speak. 175 is kind of barren outside the champions now. It's been cleared out. And guys have moved on, you know? Zurdo Opetaia. I would take Opetaia on points, but I think it's a harder fight than a lot of people are suggesting. I still see a lot of people say Opetaia wins that fight easily. I don't think he wins it easily. I think he wins, but I don't think he wins it easily. It's a good fight, though. It's a good fight. And yeah, I mean, Opetaia, I think you have to favour him, being the younger man, being the bigger man. Much better boxer than Chris Billam-Smith. He's not going to give Ramirez the same opportunities that Billam-Smith did. He's not going to stand right in front of him. You know, he's going to be in and out. He's going to be keeping range. He's going to be using that jab for 1-2, the counter-punching, the power as well, the speed. He's got a lot more than Chris Billam-Smith. A lot more. But I think Ramirez, for a while now, has been underrated in terms of skill. I've always rated Ramirez. If any of you have followed this channel, I've always felt he's a good boxer. I've just felt he's been one of those guys who hasn't really put it together. But I think we're seeing now at cruiserweight what he is capable of. And I think he's a good boxer, so he'll give Opetaia trouble. He'll give Opetaia trouble because Ramirez, one thing to notice about a guy like Ramirez is he's one of those fighters who's pretty much comfortable everywhere. He can do a bit of everything. He doesn't really excel in one area, but he does everything pretty well. He's got decent speed, he's got decent combinations, he can fight on the inside, he can fight on the outside, he can counter-punch, he can move a little bit. He's actually got really good lateral movement. He's got decent footwork. He's one of those guys who does everything pretty well. And those well-rounded guys, like, very rarely get soundly beaten. I know he got schooled by Bivol, but, you know, was what it was. What's up, G-Man? How you doing, bro? Yeah, Big John wanted no part of Mickey Theo facts. What's up, Toots? How you doing? Yeah, I felt he was pretty good against Usyk in that first fight, Toots, Tyson Fury. I felt he was pretty good. It's a very good matchup, apology. I'm taking Benavidez based on the output. Based on the output, I'm taking Benavidez. And if it's a competitive fight and it goes for distance, I'd imagine they would give it to Benavidez. So let's say, for example, it's a really close fight that most of us think that Morrell wins 7-5. You know, like one of those close but clear fights in the fans' minds? If it's one of those fights, I think Benavidez still gets it. So even if Morrell wins just about on most people's cards, I think Benavidez still gets it. That's another factor. I think the judges are going to favour Benavidez, plus the output. I'll take Benavidez, but I think it should be a good fight. Zurdo, I think Zurdo has a better gas tank than Opetaia. You could be right, bro. You could be right. I mean, Ramirez threw quite a lot of shots against Chris Billam-Smith. Am I the only one, by the way, who really enjoyed that performance by Zurdo? Again, I liked the variety. At times he was boxing. At times he was counter-punching. At times he was combination punching. How he boxed off the pivot against Billam-Smith was really nice to watch. Billam-Smith couldn't turn with him. And Zurdo was just pinging him off that pivot, man. It was so good to watch. I really enjoyed that performance, I have to say. I don't think that probably shone through in my post-fight review, but I really enjoyed that performance by Ramirez. I think he's a good fighter, man. I really do. I really do. Ben Whittaker should start celebrity boxing. Maybe he can win on points against Jake Paul. Well, listen, he needs to take a good look at himself. What does he want to do? Does he actually want to be a real boxer, or is he a show pony? Does he care about Instagram likes? What does he want to do? You know? He needs to change things up. But the signs were there with Ben Whittaker, Josh, even before the Liam Cameron fight. His fight before that against the Nigerian dude, I don't think he looked good at all. Like that pullback type of style, you know, he kind of fights with that Roy Jones type of style, but I think to carry out that style effectively, you have to be a big puncher. You have to be a big puncher, like a Roy Jones. Even like a Sergio Martinez, who had a similar style. You have to be able to hit. If you can't punch, you're going to get exposed with that style. It's just the way it is. You can be as fast as you fucking want. You're going to get walked down and exposed. You know, David Haywards another guy who had that style, but he had the power to carry it out. You have to have power if you fight in that style. That kind of ambushy, sniping style, hands down, purely based off speed. You have to have power, and I don't think Ben Whittaker has it. Wilder's still napping. Facts. Oh, is Oliver McCall making a comeback? Fucking hell. He fought a few times in the late 2020s. Sorry, late 2010s. Good fight. Yeah, I was impressed with Tevin Farmer. I've been impressed with Tevin Farmer the last couple of fights, even against Muratalla on that top-ranked card. He gave Muratalla a really good fight. And he gave, obviously, Zepeda a really good fight. Dropped him. I felt he lost both fights. One thing I'll say about Tevin Farmer, I don't know whether I'm tripping, but it feels like his punch techniques got better. Because back in the day when he was a champion, he was a slapper. He was a real slapper with his punches. It feels like he's setting his feet more now, and he's actually turning his knuckles over, turning into the punches. His punch techniques got a lot better. In fact, that's the best I've seen Farmer for the last two fights. Best I've seen Farmer for probably ever, I'll be honest. Even when he was a champion, I was never impressed with him. But I actually think it's a weird one. He was a champion back in the day, but I think he's better now. As weird as that sounds. Could be totally tripping. Hamza Sheeraz versus Carlos Adames. Looks like it's close to being made. Who do you think wins? I'll take Sheeraz. I'll take Sheeraz. There's a reason they're going that route. Adames is a good fighter, but I think he's one of those guys who's been waiting too long. You know, he's been waiting for a Charlo fight, never got it. He was interim champion for a long time. A lot of inactivity. And from what I remember, he didn't look all that great in his last fight against Terrell Gate. I think it was Terrell Gausha or Gauche, however you say it. I think he may have missed the boat. I'll take Hamza Sheeraz. Ben Whittaker's the new Conlon. Yeah, maybe. I actually think Conlon, though, was better fundamentally, Lee. What's up, Hobbit? How you doing? But yeah, I could see them having similar careers. Having said that, though, like Conlon did fight for a world title. Are we convinced that Ben Whittaker even gets that far? Bro, they just updated it, bro. So they just updated the Undisputed game. And they've, in my opinion, I just play online, and I think they've kind of made it worse than what it was. So before, they fucked it up because you had to power punch, spam online, and it didn't affect your stamina. Now they've addressed it, but I feel like they've gone too far the other way, and I feel like they fucked up with the the hit detection. There's so many times where I throw punches, I feel like they should land, and they don't. Janabek KOs Sheeraz in 5 rounds top. Sheeraz is so stiff, no head movement, and an awful chin. Yeah, the chin is definitely a concern. He got dropped by that fucking Argentinian dude, and you're right, he is upright. But he does have some good attributes as well. He's got a good jab, power jab. He's got powerful straight punches. The height, the reach, good size. I don't think he's a pushover, even for Janabek. I think Janabek wins like you, but I don't think it's like super easy either. I could see him having a few like rocky moments where, you know, he gets caught and Janabek might be maybe he gets hurt a couple of times, but I do think Janabek's technique will come through. What's up, Marcy? How you doing, bro? Every time Farmer let go of the left hand, he snapped Zepeda's head back, and I thought he hurt him a few times. But yeah, he got outworked by Zepeda, no shame in that, yeah. I agree, that's pretty much how I saw the fight. Defensively, we know that Zepeda's pretty open, right? When you throw that many punches, you're going to be open to get hit. Zepeda's shown that in previous fights, right? Even against Rene Alvarado, he got dropped in that fight. I think it was it Rene Alvarado? But he's been hit before, we've seen the guy get tagged up. And Farmer did a real good job of standing ground and actually trying to fight fire with fire. He still got outworked and he still lost the fight, but he did a really good job. A lot of people are saying, well, now we've seen this, Zepeda's got no chance against Shakur. I wouldn't go that far. I could understand that narrative if Shakur's looked great, but Shakur hasn't looked great. Shakur lost rounds to Edwin De Los Santos. Is Edwin De Los Santos any better than Tevin Farmer, for example? You know, Shakur didn't look great against Haratunian. If Shakur can't hurt Zepeda, can he offset the output? Possibly with the movement, with the southpaw stance, etc. What I'm trying to say is, I think Shakur should be favourite, rightly so, right? But what I don't get is, like, people are acting like Shakur has had this super consistent career where he's always displayed this like high level of class. He hasn't. He's had so many performances where he looks lackluster against C-tier guys, like Nakatila, for example, where he openly said he didn't like the power. He was scared to get hit. So for people saying that's a payday, or now he's got no chance against Shakur, I think that's an overreaction. I really do. I think it's a big overreaction. I think Shakur should be rightful favourite now. But yeah, saying that Zepeda gets washed or gets stopped, I mean, respectfully, like, Shakur couldn't stop fucking Haratunian. Do you know what I mean? I mean, come on. And there's this as well, Sweet G97. Yeah, Shakur's not going to take the same chances as Farmer. Yeah, exactly. So, I'm not convinced by Shakur at all. I'm not. I felt Shakur, personally, was starting to come good in his during his end days at 130. So when he fought Jamel Herring and when he fought Valdez, I actually liked those performances. And I felt he was going to build on that. I've not been as impressed with Shakur at 135 personally. Haven't been as impressed. Yeah, I literally watched half a fight, Seagar, and tuned out. It was so boring. So boring. What's up, Focus on Creativity? I know you didn't watch the fight, and I know for a fact you don't care. But after the Katie Taylor fight, did you see the clips of the interaction with Hearn and Paul's team? Wildly hilarious. No, I didn't, bro. What's up, JD? How you doing? And yeah, big up to Sweet G97. Who have I got? DDP or Chimaev? I've got Chimaev, bro. I've got Chimaev. There was a rumour going around that Shakur was taking 2 tune-up fights before the Zepeda fight, yeah. This is my issue. I could understand the Shakur glazing if he would have looked good recently, but he hasn't. He hasn't. That's what I don't get. That's what I don't get. People acting like Shakur is a pretty boy Floyd. You know, when Floyd fought at like 130, 126, 130, 135, People are acting like that. Sorry, 130, 135, 140, 147. But yeah, Shakur hasn't shown that. Fury Usyk prediction, fight 2. Listen, I'll go with a safe bet. I'll go Usyk on points again. What's up, chat? How you doing? Yeah, Morrell Benavidez is going to be a great fight. I've got Benavidez based on the output, like I was saying earlier, chat. And like I said earlier as well, if it's a close fight where like maybe Morrell wins 7-5, they're still going to give it to Benavidez. So Morrell has to win that fight clearly or knock him out, in my opinion. It's a good fight though. It should be a fun fight. See, this is another thing, and it's a great point. It's a great point. Like Haney, Shakur can't handle or punch with fighters of his size. See, that's another thing that people are not really talking about, is that Shakur's never really fought a guy his size. Like, he was pretty big at 126 and 130, Shakur Stevenson. Zepeda's a big lightweight. A big lightweight. And like you said, we saw what happened with Haney when Haney fought Ryan Garcia. You know? And I don't care about the whole PED thing, by the way, at all. Oh, but Ryan was on PEDs. Bro, he was winded. My man was winded after like 4 or 5 rounds. Go back and watch that fight. He looked in terrible shape. Garcia looked in terrible shape. PED's my ass. And you saw what happened. The first time Haney fought a guy his size, he got washed. He got beat up. And it wasn't like Garcia didn't box well. That's the thing. He really didn't. He was pretty crude in that fight, Ryan Garcia. He was very crude. The only thing was he had speed. That was it. But in terms of technique, Ryan Garcia was very crude in that fight. And anybody... Bro, I'm telling you, Ryan Garcia was there for the taking when he fought Devin Haney. People like to... Ryan Garcia wasn't good that night. He wasn't. He wasn't good. Teofimo would have knocked Ryan Garcia out that night, by the way, in my opinion. And I think Teo's looked bad recently. I think he beats Cordina, bro. I think he beats Cordina hand history vault, personally. Cordina, now this is a PED thing that kind of does make sense. Cordina has got noticeably worse since Conor Benn got busted. They was in the same gym, and all of a sudden, Joe Cordina can't knock anybody out anymore. Felix Cash is losing to Tyler Denny, a guy with 1 knockout, after previously knocking out Denzel Bentley, a guy who gave Janabek a half-decent fight. None of these guys can punch anymore. Conor Benn hasn't had a knockout since then either. I think Shakur does beat Cordina, to be honest. I really do. Apparently, bro, it's called off. Apparently, Caballero pulled out. This is what... Bro, I said this in my post-fight review for Ramirez Barboza. Why wasn't Ramirez Barboza and Zepeda versus Tevin? Why weren't they 12-rounders? Especially Zepeda Tevin, because that had a belt on the line. I hope you're right, Chet. I hope Usyk does stop Fury and then finally calls a close to this era. And then we start again. Because this era, aside from Usyk, has been posturing, politics. Will they make the fight? Won't they make the fight? Don't get me wrong, we've had good fights as well, like Fury Wilder 1 and 3, for example. We've had good fights, don't get me wrong. AJ versus Klitschko. We've had good fights, but we've missed out on so many others. So I'll be glad. I hope Usyk stops Fury, calls an end to the era, and we start again. Osterine is trash. I've taken it. It doesn't give you good endurance. Cardarine helps, though. That's what Big Baby got caught with. That works. Yeah, plus he got EPO right as well. I don't know. I don't know hand history, Volt. I've gone right off Cordina, to be honest. Yeah, and listen, bro. Like all of these guys are on something. All of these guys are on something. Yeah, exactly, JDM. Yeah, Cash got beat without the juice. Same's going to happen to Ben. Yeah, Ben will get beat very soon. Vasquez, I felt Vasquez low-key beat him as well. Well, it was a close fight, but yeah. From what I heard, Farmer requested to the WBC for 10 rounds. Interesting. That's interesting. Bakole Zhang ordered by the IBF. That's a great fight. That's a great fight. Because, bro, I think Zhang's chance lies in the first half. Bakole's got bad defense. He does get hit. He could get knocked out. But if Bakole is still there after 6, might get hard for Zhang. That's a great fight, by the way. That's a great fight. 2 heavyweights I like. I've got no bad words to say about either. I like Zhang. I like Bakole. Both entertaining. Both come to knock guys out. Good fight. Don't really care who wins, who loses. I just want to see it. I like both guys. One of those fights for me. I think Ryan would knock out Tio in the first 3 rounds. Tio's got T-Rex arms. He's 5'6", can't hurt a fly, and doesn't seem to have the fastest reflexes. He doesn't defensively, you're right about that. But I think his reflexes are pretty good when he's actually countering. And Ryan leaves a lot of openings. Ryan leaves a lot of openings, and I'm not convinced by that guy's chin at all. At all. I know a lot of people got caught up in the whole Devin Haney thing and Devin Haney losing. And people enjoyed it. But for me, in the cold light of day, I really don't think Ryan Garcia was that good that night. I'll be honest. I don't think he was that good. Like, at the time, I was kind of like hyped that it happened. But having watched the fight back a couple of times, Ryan Garcia weren't that fucking good. He was spamming the left hook. There was no jabs to speak of. There was no feints. Stand up, straight up and down. I mean, he got buzzed by Devin Haney. Oh, you can buy Cardarine online, okay. Even I'm on Peds, yeah. Not right now, I'm not. Yeah, Dubois beating Joshua was good for the division. Dubois will lose again at some point, but Joshua probably won't get a shot now, which is great. And neither will Fury once Usyk wins again. Yeah, I hope that's how it pans out. Personally, Opetaya's gonna KO Ramirez. Could happen. Yeah, it could happen. But I think Ramirez gives him a better fight than a lot of people are saying. Bakole, I think, beats Zhang. He can take the punishment. I don't think he's fought a puncher as hard as... Well, he hasn't fought a puncher as hard as Zhang. Oh, you're joking. You're joking. Why is everyone's ducking Bakole now? Fucking hell. Bakole's turned into Hrgovic. Just give the guy the fight, man. That's crazy if that's true. That's crazy if that's true. Yeah, it'd be a great fight though. Like Zhang versus Bakole. That's a great fight. Oliver McCall is fighting tomorrow. Let's have a look. Where's he fighting? He can't be fighting in America, surely. Oh, he is. He's fighting in Texas. Sorry, no, Nashville, sorry. He's fighting Stacey Frazier, who also looks... By the way, this Stacey Frazier guy looks fucking ancient. He's not fought in 5 years. Made his pro debut in 1995, Stacey Frazier. There you go. What's up, Joseph? How you doing, cuz? How you doing? I can't see it online, Welsh Mertz, but I hope that's not the case. I hope that fight happens. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, he's saying about no drug testing for the Zepeda fight. Well, that means you didn't get drug tested either. Do you know what I mean? What does that even mean? Yeah, Cabiel, yes. Yeah, based on fighters' reactions to being offered Bakole, there must be some truth behind these sparring stories, yeah. Look, but Bakole's a dangerous guy, man. That's why when that fight was made with, what's his face, Jared Anderson, I was kind of shocked. I was kind of shocked, and I said that in my pre-fight prediction. I was shocked they made that fight, I really was. Bakole Hrgovic, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. Okay, but now it's like an official eliminator. Maybe he'll take it. But also with Zhang, you don't really know what he's got next in the pipeline. So, for example, let's say just for argument's sake, if Zhang was offered the Dubois fight or even the Parker rematch to avenge that loss, if he took either one of those fights, I can't really in good grace call it a duck per se. Especially if he's fighting for a title, but it depends on what he does next. I think Waffles are great. Hey Dale, big fan. Was thinking about setting up a boxing channel, but I'm not sure I see people comment on others' channels telling them that they shouldn't talk about this and that. I don't want that. I would ignore them, bro. When it comes to uploading content, I think the best policy is probably post and ghost. But at the same time, like, if you upload content in any genre, you're going to get some negative comments. It is what it is. After you see a few, it really is like water off a duck's back. I wouldn't let that dissuade you. If you want to make boxing videos, make them. That's it. You need a microphone, and that's basically it, bro. If you want to be an amateur like me, but it depends on what your skill level is. You may be a great editor, and but yeah, just do it, man. Just do it. As what's his face would say, Shia LaBeouf, whatever his name is. No. He turned pro a year after I was born, which is crazy. What's up, Nordic bro? How you doing, cuz? How you doing? Yeah, I mean, he does though. Like, he brings a world title eliminator, Bakole. Especially a guy like Cabiel. Cabiel's not exactly a household name either. I don't know why he hasn't taken that fight. What's up? Yeah, big up to Nordic, man. Tyson Fury's the GOAT, best of this era. Usyk says hi. Yeah, he's a lump. He is a lump. Okay, apparently Jared made 700k for Bakole. Yeah, that's big money. Post and ghost is the only way to do it, yeah. Because listen, man, most of the comments are good, right? On both channels I run. Most of the comments are good. But you don't want to be one of those people. If you read comments, I do read comments a lot of the time. I don't just post and ghost, but I read comments now and again, and I am appreciative of comments. But like, don't be one of those people who fixate on the negative comments. So I can't stand these people who run like social media channels and whatever, and they'll have like a decent following, and they'll have like 100 positive comments and 2 negative, and they will hyper focus on the 2 negatives, like the 2 negative comments. That's never made any sense to me. Never made any sense whatsoever. It doesn't make sense. You know, be grateful that people follow you at all, whether it's 100 people or 500 or whatever it may be. And there's this as well, bro. If you want to run a boxing channel and you want to make it a real hustle, I'd say you probably should be a bit of a normie. But maybe that is changing now. I think the boxing game in particular has room for somebody to change things up and do it and take a different approach. You know how people are doing it in like the MMA community, people like MMA Guru, people like that. I think that approach could possibly work in boxing, because boxing people are even more sensitive than those in MMA. And that's kind of a route I'd like to go down, I'll be honest, like satire, trolling, but with also like genuine boxing content. I would like to do that, but it's about time right now, and to do that I would need a totally different setup, possibly face cam and all that sort of stuff, right? But it's something I've thought about, and maybe we will do it once time permits. Because I feel like I can boil people's piss if I'm in the mood. But it depends what you want to do, man. What's up? You got no fans? How you doing? He did, yeah. Caballero schooled Derek a while ago. Yeah, well, I know, right? We do have some good expressions. But yeah, you can't let that shit get to you, man. Like when I started the other channel, when it kind of blew up quick, like negative comments then were like, I wouldn't say they got to me as such, but it was kind of different. Like it was and I had negative comments on my boxing channel way before then, but with boxing, it's like such a small community. I don't feel it like matters at all. But yeah, the comments when I started the other channel that kind of boiled my piss, I guess, was the comments that insinuated that you weren't like being genuine, I guess, in your interest in the subject, is how I would put it. That kind of boils my piss, but it used to anyway. It doesn't anymore. But yeah, that kind of boils my piss, or boiled my piss. Past tense. Yeah, I want to say 99% are good, and I read the odd few. If it's negative, I just ignore, unless they're consistent. Giving negative comments for no reason, I just block. Yeah, that's exactly it, and that's another great point, G-Man. Like, there's negative comments and there's negative comments. So there's negative purely for the sake of being negative and somebody being miserable, but also there's constructive criticism. There's constructive criticism as well. Oh well, yeah, good video, but you got this wrong. Maybe you can improve this or that. That's I guess you could say it's negative, but it's not like, it's constructive, right? It's constructive. So that's another thing that a lot of people online, if they upload content, do a really bad job of. Every negative comment is hate. That's not the case at all. It's not the case. I don't know, man. I feel like the boxing community is even more insecure than the MMA guys. I'll be honest. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could be wrong, bro. I could be wrong. But I guess I'm exposed to boxing more than I am mixed martial arts. During the Barboza post-fight interview, he said some questionable things, which sparked some questions, made me realise they're both Golden Boy fighters. Did Ramirez actually try, or was he there to lose? Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I was very disappointed with Ramirez. I felt he gave it a go a little more in the last sort of 3 rounds or so. But he was so flat. He was so flat. It kind of looked like he was disinterested. Was he tight at the weight? I will say he looked dry coming out. He didn't look like he had a good sweat on. He looked dry for me. But you're right, he didn't look himself. But maybe he was dead at the weight. I don't know. Does it really make sense, though? Both guys are 32 years old. Does it make sense for Ramirez to throw for Barboza? Because Ramirez is a much bigger ticket seller. I don't know. Yeah, also, yeah, open mouth, shocked soy face thumbnail for every video. He did indeed, yeah, he did indeed. Bentoncourt, he's a decent player. Yeah, they do the Marvel fan fucking soy boy expressions. Yeah, act like children, 100%. Really goes to show the state of so-called hardcore boxing fans. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay, you meant boxers are more insecure. Yeah, I agree then. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree, Josh, as well. People make it like their life, right? They kind of attach their self-worth to fighters that they like, which is that's always been crazy to me. Yeah, there's a gap in the market for boxing comedy at the moment. Only the YB is holding that segment down, and now that Tyan is shot and BBB is Triple B is gone. Yeah, facts. Facts. Did you hear about Denzel Washington's same-sex scene? Bro, I don't follow like Hollywood culture at all. I don't follow Hollywood culture at all. But if it were true, I wouldn't be surprised. Put it that way. Um, yeah, not really. Apology. I'll just see how it plays out, kind of thing. You know, no expectations for me. Okay, good tips. I like the Misfits stuff. I just don't want people telling me, don't talk about Misfits, talk about Lauren Price, laugh out loud. But you get me, yeah. Well, bro, nobody's going to ask you to talk about Lauren Price. For the most part, bro, nobody cares about female boxing. That's the reality. Nobody really cares. And I feel like female boxing is kind of dying now. I feel like they ran the experiment. A couple of like low T dorks with like micro dicks. They acted like they enjoyed it for like a couple of years. And now I feel like the reality is shining through. Nobody likes that shit. Aside from like, there's a couple of fighters that generate a bit of interest, like Katie Taylor, for whatever reason. But for the most part, nobody likes that shit. Nobody likes that shit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, prime Tyan Booth was good. The issue with Tyan Booth, I think, was he kind of stuck to the same material. I think that's the issue. I would bet good money Showbiz voted for Kamala. I don't really know much about that guy. All I know is it's like, I'll be real, it's just, from like what shorts I've seen of him, it's kind of just like normie talking points. Like when he said, if you steal pay-per-views, you can't complain about the state of boxing, or something along those lines. While he's shilling pay-per-views on his channel, like DAZN. Maybe people are stealing fights for a specific reason. How about that? Yeah, indeed. Yeah, there are a few based people on YouTube, but not many. Yeah, so he's fighting Carlos Adames next KFJ, right? I mean, I don't really have a major issue with it. It's still a world title fight, but they was running the narrative that Janabek was ducking Sheeraz for a while. And then to pull that kind of undermines that narrative, right? So, listen, is what it is. But I think Adames is a decent opponent for him right now. But when he wins that world title, he should go straight in there with Janabek. I agree, Hobbit. Sheeraz is the new Khan. His entire fan base has come back. I don't think his fan base is that level yet, to be honest. I kind of feel like Adam Azim is more popular. Maybe he's not actually. Maybe he's not, but... Yeah, Tyen is one of those guys. He kind of lived long enough to see himself become the villain, right? One of those guys. Janabek is hated for absolutely no good reason, other than being annoying on Twitter. Yeah, Sheeraz fans talked a lot of shit, and they now look like clowns. Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's be honest here. I said it wasn't a duck because he's still fighting for a world title, but it is a duck really because he could have been fighting for two. So yeah, Sheeraz did duck Janabek. Because he could have fought for two titles. He could have been a unified champion or fought for a unified title. But he chose the Adames. So yeah, no, you're right. I'll take that back. It's still a duck. It's actually still a duck. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why, but I always forget Janabek's unified. He's fighting Adames. Carlos Adames, WBC champ. Yeah, for me, like thinking about it, it's more the fact that Janabek has two titles. That's why I call it a duck. As for number one, I think the division is still kind of open. I'd still put Janabek as one, but I don't think it's like set in stone yet. Do you know what I mean? He could be Seagar. We'll see. He's one of those guys. The reason I give him a bit of a chance is because he's got the size, he's got like the height and reach and the arm length. But he does the basics pretty well. Like he's got good power, he's got a good jab, he's got good straight punches. He's a decent enough counter puncher. He does the basics pretty well. And when you combine that with size and a bit of power, it can take you a long way. Not to the point where I'm saying this guy's going to be like some fucking all-time great, because that's not going to happen, but I'm just talking about like world-level fights. You could get some wins. Bro, the middle class are the worst, Welsh Mertz. The middle class are a class of apathy. You know, they like to practice their luxury politics that only affect those below them. The middle class are the worst. Let's not get political. I'm not eating the rich, bro. I'm eating the middle class. I think Lara could actually knock him out if he doesn't run away. Lara can punch. Prime Lara, yeah. Prime Lara would have beaten Hamza. Bro, Frank Warren, man. You should never count out Frank Warren. He's like a cockroach, bro. Drop a nuclear bomb on the world. The only thing surviving is fucking cockroaches and Frank Warren. Just when you think that guy's done and dusted, he comes back. Frankie boy, man, is running the game. He's got Dubois. He's got Fury. He's got a Talma at heavyweight. He's running the game in the UK. When Janabek fainted on the scale because he's trying to drain himself for an advantage at 160 is when he lost me. He's afraid of 168. Yeah, but that's a fair argument. That's a fair argument. But let's be real, yeah. It's not like Hamza is like this small guy. I was I was thinking White fighting in Gibraltar to tick over, and he'll be Chisora's retirement fight in Africa. All of this avoids the British Boxing Board of Control and gives him a final payday. You might be right, bro. I don't think he's licensed in the UK. I think that's the issue. I think he's going through a similar situation to Conor Benn, where that shit's being dealt with internally and he hasn't got a license yet. That's what I think's going on. Yeah, facts. Yeah, Tyan is more shot than Mike Tyson. Facts. Support British farmers. Facts. Facts. Big up to the farmers out there. Yeah, roaches, Frank Warren and junkies. Yeah, that makes sense, G-Man. Makes sense. And anything Honda, that's true, you know. Volvo as well. Volvo, listen, man, Volvo makes some solid cars. They last forever. Yeah, so I tuned in and out of the Akhmedov fight. I remember I got to like round 7 maybe, 6 or 7, and I felt Akhmedov was up. I felt Akhmedov was up on the cards at that point, but I never saw the last couple of rounds or so. So I won't call it like a robbery because I don't know, but I felt he was up after 6 or 7 whenever I stopped watching. Yeah, I've got middle-class family who watch the Women's Football World Cup just for the sake of it, not even football fans, yeah. Bro, they're the worst people, they're the biggest normies. Yeah, I think if Dillian faces the board, they'll give him a massive ban, and he hasn't got Hearn to save him this time. That's true as well, he had backing before with the Oscar Rivas situation. He doesn't have that anymore. But like, you still think, like, I mean, these guys have no scruples, right? You could take him to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, so with Akhmedov, I felt he beat Puello, and I felt he beat Barrios. But I hadn't seen the Kenneth Sims fight, so I can't tell you about that one. No interest, JD, on Tommy Fury versus Darren Till. Zero interest. Darren Till was one of the biggest hype jobs in UFC history in the last 10 years. You know, even his best win against Stephen Thompson, in my opinion, was a bit of a gift. Yeah. Not interested. I'm sick of this whole influencer boxing now. Darren Till, mates. But, you know, fair play. I guess he's making money. Danny Alves or Maicon? Danny Alves. Although he's a rapist now, right? But footballing-wise, Danny Alves is better. Was better. Yeah, I can't stand him, bro. I can't stand him. Bro, I had some work like fucking function last week. Back end of last week. So Wednesday, Thursday. Overnight thing as well, where we had some drinks and shit after like the conference. And you know how once people have a few drinks they get loose, and like the topic of like politics came up, and I won't tell you what I said, but we was talking about the current goings on in the world. I mentioned certain people who, we talked about like the Bolshevik revolution and shit like that, and how talked about shit like that, right? I'm fucking shocked how I haven't had HR complaints, I'll be honest. There was a couple of based people there, I'll be honest, people I didn't expect. But yeah, I was fighting a losing battle, I think, with my arguments. Although I had a couple of people agree, which is nice. And it's hilarious as well because, once you talk about politics at our work function, bro, everyone, like, people get up and leave the table sometimes and shit like that. It's fucking hilarious, man. I like to see how far I can push it, I'll be honest. I like to see how far I can push it. How many Fosters did I have? So yeah, it was like, we had like free drinks. So they gave us like tokens to have like free drinks at the bar. And they gave us sort of so we started with free tokens. So if you go through those tokens, you have to pay for it yourself. But I managed to bum off tokens from people who weren't staying. So I stole like 9 tokens. I had them. Plus I paid for like maybe a couple of beers myself. Plus there was beers on the table with a meal and like wine and shit. I had a lot to drink, put it that way. I had a lot to drink. And yeah, we was talking about the Bolsheviks. And, the central banking system. Usury. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. Interesting. Did I do any lines? Nah, not at a work party. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. Like, at those sort of things, like at work, I assume like everybody's a normie, but there were actually some pretty like based people there. When I say based, I don't even mean necessarily agree with something that I agree with, but like they have like out there political opinions kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? A couple of people there had some real out there political opinions. Some agreed with me, which was good, but some had other out there opinions that I didn't agree with, but I still appreciated them actually saying it. I never talk about politics. There's a guy in work back home who says he's based. Why on earth you need to say you are? Anyway, he said to me, never vote Sinn Féin. And I said, mate, I voted. Yeah, exactly. I've not voted at all. Yeah, exactly. I know what you're saying. Duck, I don't know what you're talking about, my bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Sounds like a dangerously based conversation. No, it was good fun, man. It was good fun. So I was talking to some Indian girl there as well, like half Indian or something, right? And she was based on everything else, right? Like everything else aside from that question. The main question, that's what she wasn't based on. But everything else, you'd say, oh, this chick's actually really based. But yeah, it was good fun, man. It was kind of good fun. I don't usually like that shit anyway, but like once I've had a few drinks down me, I can't shut my mouth. I'm one of those people. So like at work, I don't really talk to people. I go in, put my headphones in, and get on with it. I don't like talking to people at work. But yeah, once in that setting, once you've had a few drinks, I'll fire away, You should have mentioned how a caliphate is far superior to democracy. That triggers normies both on left and right. No, low key, most Indians that I've met are pretty based for the most part. Not yeah, but she was kind of that way as well. So she was talking about like women in the workplace and shit and all that shit, and she kind of agreed, JD. But yeah. My brain doesn't deal with numbers, bro. I let the computer do the work, man. But yeah, it's one of those things, man. I just kind of slipped into it. Like I started with the intention of becoming a plumber, but yeah, shit happened. It didn't really work out as such. Couldn't find, so I'd done my college course and all that shit. Passed it all, but I couldn't get work for the like first few months, and I was sitting there thinking I just need to get a fucking job, and since then I haven't gone back into it, basically. Worm in your brain like RFK Jr. I still don't trust that guy, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. That guy's a weirdo. He says a lot of good things, like the whole, like being anti-Big Pharma and holding Big Pharma to account, but he said some things in the past that for me are very questionable. He's a bit of a climate zealot, is RFK Jr. But yeah, we'll see how it works out. Plus there's this as well, exactly, Duck, yeah, there's that as well. No, I've had a couple of pay rises, but yeah, I mean, promotion is one of those things. You have to want a promotion. Right now, I don't really care. I'll be honest. I don't really care. I'm there to do a job. I'll get paid what I get paid. Make the rest of my money outside of work. So yeah, right now I don't really care. To be honest with you, I don't really care. Need to make the bag, JD. I think it's too late for me to make my fortune. It's never too late, bro. It's never too late. I'm still fucking trying. I'm not close yet, but I'm still trying. I've got good savings, but certainly not a fortune. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. Yeah, promotion means more shitty responsibilities. There's that, yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, G-Man. Like, I've totally disengaged from, like, the whole left-right kind of election cycle BS. I've kind of tuned out from it. The only enjoyment I got from it is seeing, like, reactions to him getting to Trump getting elected, like the whole like the over the top reactions. Aside from that, bro, I've like ignored it for the most part. I've kind of ignored it. I don't expect any of these individuals to really change anything in the grand scheme of things. Like I said, for me, I'm talking from a UK perspective now, but from a working class perspective, before we have any political movement, there has to be a grassroots, organic movement for the working class, and there hasn't been one. That's how I see it from a UK perspective. I think there has to be a grassroots movement before there's like a political party. Yeah, I think a lot of people, G-Man, I think a lot of people get stuck in that cycle of like the lesser of two evils. Well, and the clue's in the name, right? You're still taking poison either way. You're still taking poison either way. But Duck's right as well. It's a cultural win. Yeah, I get that. So this is my kind of struggle with things like this. So part of me is feeling that I should enjoy it still, just because, like Duck said, it is a cultural win, and maybe it is a step in the right direction. But I'm like G-Man. I'm very much a cynic, so I struggle to get in that mentality. One good thing that can come from it is docile people will now see leftists in their true form, put the fear of God in them. I hope so. I hope so, Nordic, but... Yeah, so this has always been my kind of issue. So the working class in this country are kind of treated as like a political football, and that's basically the tactic of like the left in general. They'll do that with classes, with race, etc. They treat people like political footballs. But as soon as you don't vote in a way that they like, that's when the mask slips, and that's when the true colours actually reveal themselves. So like in the UK, if you voted for Brexit and you're working class, oh, you're a bigot, you're uneducated, you're this, you're that, you're the third. And same with America, like even beyond like white working class, but look, like Latino men voted for Trump. I think 54% of Latino men voted for Trump. And look at the reaction from the left to Latino men, the tolerant side. Look at the reaction. The mask slips every time. Well, that's a thing, crazy. Like I think there has been a movement now of like right wing woke. But yeah, I think the whole class thing in the UK is definitely more prevalent than the US. Because one good thing about the USA is still the concept of the USA, the American dream, right? That is a powerful aspect to America that a lot of people undervalue in America, I think, is the notion of the American dream. And that in and of itself is a pretty powerful message if you do grow up in a working class family with not much money. There's not really that mentality in the UK. It's it's like the burden of low expectations almost. And that, if you grow up in a working class environment, that is very hard to shake. Because it took me to my like mid to late 20s to earn some decent money. Like I've got good savings now because of like the other YouTube channel. And like, if I feel like, because of like my background and I had zero money growing up and I had zero money in my early adult life, I've been so scared to like actually do something with that money and try to invest it or make it grow because I'm scared I'll never have it again, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So instead of like trying to grow it and trying to invest and trying to do this and trying to do that, I've just sat on it. That's it. Yeah, that's what they say. Like, if you're white, they'll say you're racist, and if you're not white, they'll say you hate your own race. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Apology. Um, yeah, I was about 19, and I wasn't ready when I moved out. That's it. Well, there's that as well. The American dream exists because the Americans are asleep. You might be right. But I still feel that I still feel that message is very powerful. I know a lot of less. I think a lot less people now are believing it in America, but I still feel like that's a very powerful message. I do. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the inflation rate is way too high. You'll lose your arse from out underneath you. Yeah, facts. But yeah, it's frustrating having like money sit there, but I just don't know what to do with it, and I'd rather just keep it for now. Exactly, that's the same reason a lot of middle upper class people can flourish. I know people who have been given money we could only dream of just about to play with stocks and shares. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Put it in Bitcoin. Yeah, man, I wish I had the balls to do it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Americans definitely have more freedom than we do. Well, a lot of states do anyway. I don't know about every state, but I feel you, G-man, yeah. Most of my money has gone on this move. Still have a bit of savings, but I'm reluctant to part ways with it. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Bro, round here, bro, you know how much money you have to become a landlord, bro? The only thing, like, so the plan would be to up sticks and move up north. I would move to Scotland, to be honest with you. I would move to Scotland, but the plan is to up sticks and move up north, but there's things keeping me here right now. Do you know what I mean? Like family stuff. So I can't move, I can't change locations right now. So yeah, I'm kind of stuck here at the minute. I'm kind of stuck here. I definitely wouldn't do that, bro. I wouldn't cheat the system in that way. But if I could cheat the system and not pay tax on what I earn outside of my like main job, I would. I would cheat tax. That's what I would do. But move until I've got a couch. Although I hate what's happening to the UK, we've got exactly what we deserved. Yep, ultimately millions of people genuinely seem to be okay with the direction we're going in. Yeah, you'd hope at some point they do wake up, but whether they do or not, we shall see. Yeah, me too, Welshmerts. I did this. I did this a few years ago with Cardano, a coin called Cardano. It's gone back down now, but at the time it went up to like over $1, and when I was looking at it, it was like 9 or 10 cents per coin, and it went up to like over $1 per coin, and I was gonna invest a few K, and I'd have made a lot of money. But yeah, is what it is. Is what it is. You can't cry over spilt milk. What do I think about Beterbiev calling out Paul? He's just after the bag, isn't he? He's just after a bag. That's it, really. It's not going to happen. But I don't blame him for chancing his arm. Yeah, Cardano went up quite a lot. It's up to, what's it up to now? 58 pence. Try and find... No, bro, it went up to like fucking $2, you know. So yeah, it went up to $2 in August of 21. I was going to go in. I vividly remember, because it was the end of COVID. Well, it was COVID first year, so 2020. It would have been like December, late December. So it was 12 cents a coin, and I was going to put something like 5k in. Something like that. And by August of 21, it went up to $2.04 per coin. So there you go. I'm not sure what the prices are like in the Midlands, JD. If it makes you feel any better, my mates and I spent the equivalent of 180k in today's money on Bitcoin for our Boomtown Festival suites. Ordered nearly a decade ago. Bro, are you serious? Jesus fucking Christ. Solana? I've heard a lot about Solana, to be fair. I've heard a lot about Solana. It's been years since I looked into crypto, to be honest. Like, the issue I have with crypto is like, I don't don't know, I kind of, with those sort of things, I keep on looking at them. That's insane. There's 4-bed properties in Nottingham and Derby for 130k to 150. That's crazy. Are you serious? It can't be that cheap, right? Can't be that cheap. No, I'm looking on fucking sites now, bro. They're not that cheap. In 2021, I put 300 quid into Luna. Was 2 quid a coin and went to 100 quid in 2022. I was advised not to withdraw as it was going to hit 300 by year's end. Crashed in May 2022. Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. I feel you, bro. Yeah, that's facts. Yeah, that's facts, Welts. Yeah. They created this shit degenerate hellscape. I've got no problem with gaming their system. Yeah, I'd just rather not, man. I'd rather keep on swinging and hopefully something works out, you know? That's what I'd much rather. No, you are. There are some decent property prices in Nottingham, but like it's still not crazy cheap. It's still not crazy cheap. Thing is, if you want a cheap property in the UK, you've got to go to a shithole. That's the problem. That's the problem. So let's have a look at Bradford. Let's have a look. I'm just having a look on properties in Bradford. Okay, let's have a look. Bradford. So 3-bed semi-detached in Bradford is like £165,000 for a 3-bed semi-detached, big driveway. You get so much more for your money, but it's a shithole. Just for argument's sake. 2-bed terraced, 130 grand. Fucking hell. Semi-detached 2-bed, 130 grand. Madness. Property prices in this country are crazy. Yeah. Bro, Worthing, where I grew up, now costs $500,000 for a house that isn't shit. 10 years ago, a 4-bed was about 180k. It's insane. Yeah, it's madness. The issue with the UK, man, is just I just feel like there's nowhere to move to. That's the problem. Like, yeah, you can go to like I said, places like Bradford where you're going to get more for your money, but it's a fucking dump. It's a fucking dump, bro, honestly. Yeah, no, that's true. I get you, JD. That is true, but what you getting for your money is the question. Yeah, so I'd like to move away, bro. I'd like to move away, but yeah, like I said, there's things keeping me in this area. That's the issue I have. I mean, I could up sticks and go, but like it wouldn't be the right thing to do. But no, you can get some cheap ass houses in Bradford, like a terraced 2-bed house you can get for like 90 grand. Nice. But again, who wants to live in fucking Bradford, right? Yeah, London is just way too fucking expensive, man. London is just way too expensive. Where are you planning? Apology. Where are you planning to go? Because I couldn't tell you where to go in the UK, I'll be honest. I couldn't tell you where to go. I wouldn't know where to go myself. Yeah, I think Berenchik's title is there to be taken. I don't think he's great at all. Dennis Berenchik. I don't think he's great. Liverpool? No, I don't know what the property prices are like in Liverpool. I'd imagine they'd be relatively expensive. Plus, there's a lot of Scousers there. No offense, you know what I mean? I'm joking. No, you can get some decent like terraced houses, I guess, for 100k and shit. That is a very insane plan. Honestly, just travel until I run out of money and settle there. Insane plan, but I want to experience the world. I feel you on that. I do kind of feel you on that. Part of me that would put me off living abroad is if I don't have time to learn the language. Let's say I go to a place that doesn't speak English, like I wouldn't want to be that person who moves to a foreign country and doesn't learn the language, I'll be honest. I think it's disrespectful. I wouldn't be that person. So if I moved to a foreign country, I'd have to learn the language. Isle of Man is good. It's where all the UK millionaires live and they don't shit where they eat. I visited and it felt like a parallel universe. Literally none of the problems we have are there, yeah. No, you are right. There's actually some good property prices in Liverpool. Again, in shit areas, but... Yeah, that's the thing I wouldn't want to do. I wouldn't want to be that person. To go to a foreign country and not learn the language. I feel like that's only acceptable if you are contributing a massive amount. Like, let's say you're like some fucking, I don't know, like some fucking investor or whatever. You're actually kind of paying a lot of tax and shit. At that point in time, it may be fair enough, but... I came across a 2-bed house in County Durham listed for 26k. Maybe it was a shared ownership or something. I think County Durham might be the cheapest house prices in the UK. But you're not only thinking about house prices, you've also got to consider like work, right? You've also got to consider work. Like, what are you going to do for work? Like, the job market up there is not as good. But you're right, like there's a lot more affordable houses out there that way. Yeah, there's not really many suitable places to move. I'm in the exact same boat. Yep. Facts. Absolute facts. Should just buy a piece of land, right, and build a fucking log cabin and live in the wilderness like a fucking hermit. That might be more peaceful at this stage. build a fucking log cabin, have a well, boom, you're sorted. Well, I've heard this, TBS. I think it was Hand History Vault. He was saying this earlier in the chat. Apparently Zhang's rejected it, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Hopefully he hasn't, because it's a great fight. That's another thing. I have thought about that though, JD. Like, you're saying, like, somewhere like fucking County Durham, like Darlington or something. Buying a cheap ass house and just like renting it out. So like two bed terrace house in Darlington, like 55 grand. I could buy that now, like cash. But what's the rent going to be for something like that? Not much, right? I'm looking forward to it as well. Usyk Fury 2. Should be a good fight. And the first fight was good, right? The first fight was good. Yeah, I could pay for it now. But like, I don't feel like you're going to get fuck all back on your rent, right? It's kind of mad how property prices fluctuate like that in this country. It's insane. It's actually insane. Then you got to worry about fucking maintaining the shit and, you know, the quality of tenants and all that crap. It's easier said than done, I think. It's easier said than done. Because there's so much bureaucracy in the UK where, like, you become a landlord, you got to climb through fucking hoops and do this, that, and the third. There's so much of that shit in this country, like the red tape shit, you know? Yeah, I'm the same, Nordic. So I feel like if you luck out and get a good tenant who stays there for a while, that's great. That's bueno, right? But chances are, man, you're gonna get some arsehole. Yeah, I'd go somewhere in Europe, but yeah, I'm in the exact same. Yeah, it's in the exact same boat as us. To escape all the BS, you'd need to move even further afield, and that gets very difficult with languages, jobs, and culture shocks. Yeah, 100%. What current heavyweight do I think would be most dangerous for Usyk? And would you agree that there's a noticeable dip in his form? We'll see with his next fight with Fury, I guess, in regards to the form. I don't think he's at his prime anymore, I will say that. But who's the biggest threat to Usyk right now? It might still be Fury. Fury might be one. Maybe Bakole. Bakole mainly because of his style. You say that, Nordic, but like I don't know about it these days, man. Like, I'm sure you've met those people in high-paying jobs who are absolute dopes, right? I don't know. I guess it all depends on the job. Albania. Invest in prostitutes. I mean, why not Albania, right? Don't think. I think the language might be a problem. What language? Hang on. What's the property prices like? You still want to say Usyk versus Gigachar? So yeah, basically what we're saying is the UK might be cooked. The UK might be cooked. But yeah, ultimately, all I'd really like is enough cash to like totally start again and go somewhere else. That'd be nice. Because it'd put my mind at rest. Like, even though I have to stay here right now, knowing that I would have it would put my mind at rest. I'll be honest. I feel like I'm constantly like thinking about this sort of shit all the time, every day. Like, I feel like it's every waking minute I'm thinking about this sort of shit. Probably can't be healthy for you. But yeah, it's one of those things. Until I've left like no stone unturned, I'm not gonna stop trying. I'm not gonna stop trying to like change my fortunes as such. Yeah, if I went to America, it would be Texas or Florida, I'd say. It'd be Texas or Florida. Get my fucking green card, get my citizenship, buy some guns, buy a ranch, middle of nowhere, left alone. Some Latin chick. Boom, like Colombian or something. That'd be it. That'd be me sorted. Yeah, Arizona seems good as well. Maybe North Carolina. Somewhere like that. Or whatever Carolina's better. I don't know what Carolina's better, North or South Carolina. I think South Carolina might be better. I don't know. Whatever the better Carolina is, one of them seems good. I forget which one. Yeah, exactly. Emmanuel Char, the unheralded king of heavyweight boxing. Everyone's ducking him. Facts. Florida's drowning in Latina Punani. Yeah. I don't know what I'd want to settle with though. A Cuban or a Colombian. I feel like Cubans low-key might be more politically based. I feel like they would be. I'm kind of a fan of the whole Latin thing. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big fan. Same with like Eastern European women. I'm a big fan. For different reasons. Yeah, we've realistically got a decade or so before things get really nasty here, so it's not a massive rush. But I want to leave sooner rather than later because things are rapidly getting shitter, yeah. What about Asian women? So when I say I'm not a massive fan, it's not like I don't find any Asian women attractive, because I do, but just not my jam overall. Not my jam. But again, I'm not saying I wouldn't in the right circumstance. There are some very attractive Asian ladies out there, but it's just not my jam. South and North Dakota seem boring. To be honest with you, I know nothing about those states. Apparently Montana's really good. Barely anybody lives there, but apparently it's good. I think Apology's a big fan of the Asian women. Yeah, it's each to their own, man. It's each to their own. I just feel like at this point in time, I understand like the whole... I don't understand the passport bro thing in terms of like just going abroad to get laid. I think that's kind of cringe. But I understand the appeal in like dating a foreign chick who maybe comes from a culture that is still somewhat God-fearing. A lot of people from my church moved to Montana. Yeah, apparently Montana's all right. It's kind of like, I wouldn't... out of a way... I wouldn't mind it. Get a cabin in the mountains, do some hunting, some fishing, all that good shit, you know. Exactly that. I've been dating foreign girls since I was 20, and it saves you so much headaches. Yeah, facts. I can imagine. But it's the right ones though, right? It's like anything. Because I wouldn't want to like date a foreign chick where like the culture, our cultures are completely different. Kind of thing. I got no idea what a Biafran IPOB woman is. I'll be honest. No idea what you're talking about. Yeah, true apology. Yeah, you're more likely to get laid abroad. Although the only time I got laid abroad, I slept with a fucking Irish fucking chick. So even abroad, I couldn't pull a fucking foreigner. The only good thing about California is there are random poor Mexican girls that look like supermodels, yeah. I'm saying go to Cali. Find a chick who's a God-fearing woman. Why not? Oh, no, I did. Yeah, I did. I remember what you're talking about now. In Nigeria, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that video was fucking crazy, by the way. But yeah, I'm not one of these, I don't know. It's one of those things, like, settling down for me right now, I've got so much on my plate because I'm still trying to like hustle away, which takes a lot of time because I work full time as well. Plus I've got the family stuff I've got to deal with. There's so much fucking like shit on my plate. I should really probably start thinking about settling down, but it's priorities, I guess, more than anything, you know. What's your general thoughts about the whole alpha sigma male thing that's been raging all over the internet in the last couple of years? I think that's an example of like right-wing woke. You just see like caricatures of what people think men are supposed to be. But you look at these communities like the red pill community and you look at how they interact with each other. Total bitching, he said this, he said that. It's an absolute shit show, to be honest with you. That whole community, shit show. They preach some good messages, but you look at the people who are preaching them and look at the state of them. I got it on. I know what you're talking about now. Ah, shit. I don't remember where I found it. Probably like just a news website online. Because the name was like Gloria Matthews. And I like researched the case and looked at some like Nigerian news sites. And I think I found it on a website, on like a news website. You've been taking creatine as an nootropic lately, and the difference is night and day. Makes wage slaving a lot more tolerable. Yeah, I've heard that online about creatine being used as like a stimulant and shit. But I've never taken creatine, believe it or not. I've never taken it. Probably should get on it, right? Might be better than fucking caffeine. But yeah, most of these like online communities are kind of cringe, borderline cultish. But the worst one of the lot is like the black pill community. But I think that's even worse. Again, all of these communities preach a grain of truth, but they mix it with absolute bullshit. And I think they mislead a lot of people. Particularly the black pill movement, though, because I think that teaches men to give up, and regardless of where you're at in life, where you come from and all that shit, giving up is not an option, as far as I'm concerned. Giving up is never an option. Defeatism is never an option. And it kind of preaches, like, especially the black pill narrative, it kind of teaches that helpless victimhood mentality. But there's a big appetite for that right now because every community now is afflicted with a victim mentality. Every single one. Every single one. I couldn't train for weeks because of my Achilles. I drank so much iron brew and ate so much crap that my throat was sore for days. I'm in a weird kind of mood lately. Went back to the gym today and I feel a bit better actually. Yeah, that's probably what it was, bro. You've been so used to being regimented. Because you've done really well at your training. You've like really stuck with it. So maybe like the time where you can't train or you couldn't train, like you kind of didn't know what to do with yourself and you kind of filled it with like the junk food and shit. But you trying to recreate that feeling in a different way. Those endorphins, I guess, right? When you work out, you get that endorphin buzz, and maybe you was trying to just recreate that through like eating food or drinking drinks that you like. Yeah, it's definitely alluring, and that's why so many people follow it. But I just think it's the antithesis of like what it is to be a man for number one. I think it's the antithesis of like the masculine imperative, I guess I'd say, but also it's the antithesis of like we're built on our foundation is built on Christianity. It's the antithesis of like Christianity, and as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, black pill can be argued to be more damaging than things like feminism. It creates weak men, which creates a weak society. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it. I think it's basically the male equivalent of feminism is like the whole black pill mentality. I think it's basically the male equivalent of feminism. That's probably the best way to put it. I've gone down this rabbit hole of like researching different subgroups online because I kind of find it interesting, and I think the black pill community is particularly disturbing. Like the red pill community is bad, but I find something very insidious about the whole black pill movement. I'll be honest, I find something very insidious about it. Now there's a million of autists that worship male models. Yeah, bro. Yeah, the way these guys are judging other men's looks is wild, bro. It's crazy. Okay, this one's definitely a wild one, but do you think sex bots or dolls could ever be a legitimate problem for humankind if they become advanced and affordable enough? Laugh out loud. Yeah, they would. Sandy's soup. Just like porn is now. Yeah, of course they would. Yeah, that'd be a big problem. Great video I watched. Question Everything, Black Pill. Really exposes that whole thing. The channel as a whole is great too. Okay, let me have a look at that. I'm going to cue that for when I go to bed, because I'll listen to it when I go to bed. How long is this video? I'm typing like a fucking boomer. Jesus Christ. Is the channel called Question Everything Anon? Seagar. Yeah, imagine not showering or taking care of your appearance and complain that women don't want to be around you, yeah. Yeah, a lot of it has been decadence. We've had it too good for too long, so people need to invent things to be offended about. Hence why you never see these issues where people are living hand to mouth. Yeah, facts, yeah. Okay, I'll give it a watch. I'll give it a watch. Christianity's flaws and holes gave rise to liberal secular societies. That's why it's no longer taken seriously in Europe like it used to be. That's an interesting point. So I'm not as well read on Christianity as like Nordic is, for example. So Nordic's definitely the best person to take that up with. He's more educated on Christianity than me. So I'm one of those people. I've always kind of like been searching for that answer from a spiritual sense. I've always believed in God. I believe in God. But I've always kind of like been looking for the framework to go around that as such. But I need to deep dive and obviously like read the Bible and whatnot and really see for myself. Because I do wonder whether some of it has been bastardized, like the whole forgiveness thing is a challenging one for me. I think they've bastardized the Bible though to a degree. Like they almost make Jesus out to be like this hippie character when in reality he really wasn't. Like he was a warrior. Jesus Christ wasn't a fucking hippie type of character. That's why he got fucking killed. Okay, he's right, but it's all explained in the scripture. These are signs of the end time prophecy. Have I ever been to St. Albans? Probably. I don't really remember, I'll be honest. It's probably one of those nothing towns. Probably have been. Okay, yeah. So the Bible clearly states that people will become lovers of self, pagans, and will forsake God. True repentant believers will be saved. And I guess we see that especially with idolatry in society now. Right? You look at certain influencers like guys like Andrew Tate, for example, or, these sort of guys. And even Donald Trump is a great example. Elon Musk. This idolatry of these figures is definitely very... I feel like it's worse now with influencers than it was when it was just pure celebrities. Oh yeah, exactly. You just said the same thing. Look at the way people worship celebrities and politics, for example. Everyone's got a god, whether they know it or not. Yeah. Well, I've always said that everybody is religious. Everybody. I also noticed, despite people saying the black pill is being silenced and they don't want the truth out, there's money to be made in that community. Black pill videos get pilled. Yeah, facts. Yeah, that's it, Josh. 100%. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why they're losing. Like, the church have lost a lot of young men, especially disenfranchised men. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Plus, Jesus had to die. It was a prophecy alluded to in the Old Testament. When he died, his last words were, "It is finished." He died so that we could be forgiven. We broke God's laws, and Jesus paid the fine. And yeah. Oh yeah, that whole looks maxing thing. Yeah. I mean, that's just common sense, though, right? If you're gonna go out, you're gonna go out in the club or whatever. You put on a decent fucking pair of jeans. You put on a decent shirt, decent shoes. Have a decent trim, some decent fucking aftershave or whatever, and that's it. The main thing is, like, it's not even like buying necessarily super expensive clothes. One of the issues a lot of people have, like, they buy clothes that are terribly fitted. Like, buy clothes that actually fit you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, 100% DJ Clockwise. It's definitely better to be that way inclined than to be an atheist, man. That's, I guess, like, by label, I would be called agnostic, but the only way I can describe it is I believe in God. But hey, maybe I'll get there. Maybe I'll get there and something will speak to me. We'll see. What I noticed about the disenfranchised men too, is that if they were believers, the things they are depressed about would not matter. Yeah, like, even before we all mingled up as societies, like, every culture had, like, beliefs in deities and whatnot. There's definitely things that I'd like to hear, like, at least hear an explanation for, or an attempted explanation for. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Josh. What would you say to people who have tried your suggestions and say they don't get women because they're ugly? Try harder. Try more consistently. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. If you want to play it from a pure mathematical perspective, it is a numbers game, right? The more you ask, the more likely somebody is to say yes. I think a lot of the times I think we as people in general, we don't like the thought of rejection. And once you first get out there as a young man, You're going to get rejected. I hate to break it to you, but everyone gets rejected. I've been rejected far more than I've been accepted, mate. So you just got to get used to that for a start, is to learn to handle that. It's not a damning indictment on you. It is what it is, you know? If every single woman in the world went up to you and asked you out, you're going to say no to a lot. It is what it is. Exactly. If you don't buy the ticket, you don't win the raffle. Exactly, DJ Clockwise. That's 100% true. But a lot of guys, and I think a lot of guys also maybe have unrealistic expectations as well. Have I thought about doing ASMR? I don't think I could. I should do smoking ASMRs and like monetize my fucking future lung cancer. Exactly, G-Man, yeah. And we've all gone through dry spells. We're all men here. We've all gone through dry spells. We've all gone through periods of time where we weren't really on it like that, right? We've all gone through those spells. It happens, right? It happens. I'm an average-looking dude, but I've done okay now and again. It's just pure. It's just effort, really. It's just pure effort. Yeah, I do. You got no fans. I do. Like an absolute brokey. I need to stop in general, though. I need to stop. I need to motivate myself to stop. It's fucking expensive, isn't it? How well do you think Opetaya would do at the heavyweight division if he decided to move up? Personally, I would definitely think he could cause at least a few upsets. I kind of agree, Sandy Soup. I don't think he's going to be like a dominant guy at heavyweight, but I think he'd have success. He brings a unique skill set. He's quick, he's agile, he's a southpaw. Is he a southpaw? I forget. But he's a good fighter, man. He's good. Yeah, just pretend you know what you're talking about. you'll be good. It's like at that work thing the other day, like I was saying about, I was coming out with some, like, probably some out of the norm political beliefs, but people are receptive to that shit. Even though people disagreed, I was kind of like putting myself out there with it. And I feel like just dumb shit like that, like, stand on your word. Like G-Man said, be confident. Carry yourself in a manner in which, like, portrays that if it doesn't go well, like, you're okay, and like carry. It's hard to how do I explain it? But carry yourself in a way where, like, if you actually do approach women, which you should do, but if you do, carry yourself in a way where it's not like you're bringing the energy that everything rides on this, that you're like hoping and praying. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't think you can fake confidence, though. Can you fake confidence? I mean, depends what you're after, I guess, right? If you want to get laid, I guess you can. But, like, a lot of my thing is based on mood, I'll be honest. So sometimes I'm just not in the fucking mood and I couldn't chat my way out of a wet paper bag. It would purely depend on what mood I'm in. If I'm going out, a lot of my thing is mood. I've got to be in the mood for it. I think you can. Loads of fighters do it. I guess you could delude yourself, right, into being confident. But what I'm trying to say is, can you consciously, like, can you consciously put on an act to portray that you're competent. Does that make sense? I don't think I could consciously do that. I'm not a good actor like that. I couldn't do it. So I guess I'm not a small talk guy, I'll be honest. Depends on what small talk. It depends on the vibe, but yeah, I know what you're saying, Nordic. I know what you're saying. Fake it till you make it. That's the old saying, isn't it? That's the old saying. There's definitely some truth to it, but in terms of like long-term shit, I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm still in that smashing and dashing stage. As I said, I don't really have time for it at the minute with everything that's going on, but maybe that'll change. Maybe that'll change. I don't know. Lord knows I've had like the opportunities, but I kind of fucked them all up. Not the most committed of guys sometimes. But yeah, any advice to those guys who are like, doubting themselves and they're scared to get themselves out there? Ultimately, it's one of those things. It's like, the longer you leave it, the more daunting it's going to be. The longer you don't put yourself out there, the worse it's going to be for you. You're making it for yourself. The lower your confidence is actually going to be. Putting it off and not trying is going to make yourself worse in the long run, I think. You're gonna make yourself worse. You're gonna ruin your confidence. So I would bite the bullet and actually put yourself out there, and try to pull. I know it sounds very shallow, but it does boost your confidence. It really does, and you realise that you can do it. Yeah, you're gonna get rejected along the way, but that becomes kind of like formality. It is what it is. Didn't work out, whatever. But the longer you leave it, if you're a young guy, you maybe your late teens and you haven't really got yourself out there yet, if you don't do it, you will regret it at a certain point in time. No. I'd say like Jake Paul is what area below, like a level below area level. I'd say. Maybe even lower than that. Maybe that's being too kind. Is Jake Paul any worse than a guy like Campbell Hatton, for example, who's below area level? Is Jake Paul worse than Campbell Hatton? If you scaled Campbell Hatton up and you gave him the same pound for pound stamina power, who would win, Jake Paul or Campbell Hatton? I kind of think he's on that level, DJ Clockwise. I kind of think he's on that level, like where Campbell Hatton's at, respectively. Like, and Paul does have more power. Yeah, he does. Thing is with Campbell Hatton, I don't get how you can understand a guy being at that level if he kind of he's one of those guys who trains part time. He's got a full time job and he kind of fights on the side. But having all that strength and conditioning, all those nutritionists, full-time boxing training and still be that bad, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. I'd say they're a similar level. Campbell has better stamina. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'd say Campbell has better stamina pound for pound, but Paul probably has better power, yeah. Well, I've heard that from a lot of people who are married. When they get married, all of a sudden women come onto them, yeah. Hatton has polystyrene hands. Hands of foam, Campbell Hatton. So what was Roberto Duran was what, Manos de Piedra? Okay. What's foam in Spanish? So in Spanish, Candle Hatton is known as Manos de Espuma. Hands of foam. Manos de Espuma. There you go. You learn something new every day. Don't know who that guy is. No, I do know who that guy is. That's that idiot who's been going around in Japan and making an ass of himself, right? And he got beat up. Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, I know who that is. Jake Paul versus Harvey Price. Harvey Price, you know, could have a granite chin, you know. You know what they say about, like, yeah, I think there's no hope for Hatton, Rambler. There's no hope for him. There's no hope for Hatton. Indeed, exactly. Could have a granite chin. Could be a hard guy to move, you know. Those punches bouncing off him. And all you see is Harvey Price closing the distance, using his body weight, leaning all over you. Before you know it, you're spent. 4 rounds in, you got no power left. You're just throwing get-off-me punches, arm punches. You're being closed down. It's like an immovable object closing in. It's like punching a wall that's closing in. Harvey Price, too big, too strong. Too big, too strong for Jake Paul. Harvey Price looks like an early Wilder opponent. Fights like 1-2, I'd imagine. I think you're underselling Harvey Price a little bit. I think you're underselling him, Nordic. Jesus Christ. Has there ever been a case where a son is a good boxer, as good a boxer as their father, let alone better? I guess Mayweather Jr. is the only one. Unless there's like a shit boxer whose son became good, but they don't really count, right? Yeah, Fury, but his dad was bad, wasn't he? His dad was Misfits level. Whereas, like, Floyd's dad was decent. I don't feel like Fury counts, though, because his dad was so shit. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like Fury counts. No. You got no fans, no. Isn't she in prison? Or am I tripping? To be fair, the majority of pros whose dads were never pro are better than their dads. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true. But now, in terms of like fighters whose dads were like somewhat known, I guess Mayweather is the best, right? I guess Mayweather's the best in terms of like fathers who are decent boxers. sorry, a father who was a decent boxer and their son becoming a boxer. I guess Mayweather's the best son of a notable fighter. Tommy Fury is very shit, but I don't think he'll lose to what's his face, Darren Till. A big fat resounding no. But yeah, Fury's won as well, but I just don't count his dad as a serious boxer. Ah, see? That's a great question. That's a great point. See, Nordic's more switched on than I am right now. That would have been a very good refute. Exactly, what type of question is that? Indeed. Indeed. What the fuck does this even mean, man? I'm not with the times. What is a spud man or spud bro? What the fuck is that? Don't even know what that is, bro. Yeah, 1000 IQ Nordic. It's all the iron brew he drinks. That's what it is. It's all the iron brew. He's ahead of the curve. Always read the blueprint, yeah. I mean, it's Misfits boxing DW, right? So it could happen. They could try and pull that stunt. They could try. I kind of feel like the whole influence of boxing thing has lost steam now. I kind of feel like it's on its dying embers almost. Like when it first started, there's quite a lot of interest in it to a degree. I kind of feel like it's dying a little bit. Yeah, I know what spuds are, but the way he put it, a spud man or a spud bro, I don't know what that means. I do like me some potatoes though. It peaked with Wings versus Boogie. I agree. I actually watched that fight and I was genuinely excited for it. So I'm not adverse to freak show fights, but they have to be the right freak shows. Something like that. Something like that. Wings versus Boogie was like what... That's what YouTube boxing should be. It's two fat motherfuckers who are like one happy meal away from a fucking mobility scooter fighting each other. That's what YouTuber boxing should be. The lowest of the low, lolcows in the ring with each other, absolute degenerates going at it. That's what it should be. I don't want to see these guys cosplay as pro athletes and fucking... Do you know what I mean? Just get these fat motherfuckers in there with each other. Oh, well, thank you, Ashley. Legend, big up to yourself. What's up, Emmanuel? How you doing, bro? But yeah, Wings versus Boogie, man. I was genuinely excited for that fight. I'm not even trying to be like sarcastic when I say this either. Like last year, that may have been, in terms of excitement, it would rank like top 5 most anticipated fights for me last year. I'm not joking. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about this whole Misfits boxing shit is there is some size discrepancies in that shit. Like, there is some size discrepancies. Yeah, I'm surprised somebody's not got badly hurt before now, I'll be honest. I feel like they've got a little better with it as they've gone on. But in the early days of that shit, there were some crazy, like, mismatches. To be fair, instead of influencer boxing, I prefer just seeing pub scraps with the average Joes going in the ring. Oh, that's that Mexican politician, white. The big muscle, fake muscle guy. Yeah. I know who that is. Yeah, because he had like multiple pro fights, all of which were fake. Yeah. Bro, the cartel probably paid for that guy's fucking muscle implants. But no, I think influencer boxing is one of those things. I don't have an issue with it to a degree. So like Wings versus Boogie is actually unironically a good example. Like, totally away from real boxing. They're not trying to merge the two or like crossover or anything like that. Have them completely separate. If they want to do that thing on their own, you know, on the YouTube side of things, do it. I don't really care. But it's shit. It's like the shit we saw this past weekend with Jake Paul. You know, he's kind of merging the two together, trying to cross over into like the real boxing world and the combat sports world by fighting washed up people, whether it be MMA guys or boxers. It's like, just stick to your own, you know? And if you want to actually come over to the boxing side, actually do it for real kind of thing. You know, if you actually genuinely want to do it for real. But obviously that's never going to happen. Johnny Fisher is the future, mark my words. He knocks out everybody cold. Yeah, he's another gimmick fighter. He's fighting Dave Allen next, God help us, in Saudi Arabia. Just imagine having that worth and paying for that shit. But no, I do like the Saudi involvement in boxing so far. There's been a couple of misses, but all in all, it's been pretty positive, I think, the Saudi involvement in boxing. Whether it continues that way or not, we'll see. But so far, it's been... What I've noticed about the Saudi fights, pretty much for the most part, is that all the serious fights look real. Is what I will say about the Saudi fights. The only one that people would question, I guess, would be Fury and Ngannou, because a lot of people questioned that one. I'm not even sure how I still feel about that fight, but aside from that, I feel like every fight's been real. If I'm not mistaken, the closest anyone's come to dying in Misfits boxing was when a muscular dude's heart almost gave out after the fight from sheer exhaustion or something, yeah. That's a good fight. That's coming up soon as well. Galal Yafai or Sonny Edwards. Galal Yafai has the size and power, and he'll try and run over Sonny. It's whether Sonny can offset him for 12, basically. The issue with Sonny Edwards, man, he rests on the ropes too much. Where he'll kind of try and slip and weave and roll on the ropes and catch shots on his gloves. He done that. Even before his loss to Bam Rodriguez, he did that against Wasim. He did that against is it Acosta? He does that a lot. He done that against the guy from Chile. I forgot his name, but he does this in all his fights, man. And he gives away moments in rounds. He gets tagged up when he does that. When he stops moving, he gets tagged. If Sonny isn't moving, is what I'm trying to say is the guy's defense isn't actually that great. When he's stationary. When he's either flat-footed or on the ropes or in the corner. His defense ain't that great. And that's where Galal Yafai will have to try and work him over to body and head, especially for body, to slow those legs down further. I think Sonny's going to win the early rounds with his movement. But I do worry about Sonny a little bit when he slows down. Having said that, I think Galal is still there to be outboxed to a certain degree. I can see it going either way. I'm not really convinced either way, though. I'll be completely honest. I'm not really convinced either way. Yeah, exactly, Hobbit. Yeah, nothing like the real thing. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah, I think it's definitely dialing back. I think it would have been better though if they left it at just, have it as a completely separate thing. I think the worst thing the whole influencer boxing thing did was when they kind of merged it with like pro boxing. I think that was kind of the worst thing. But if they just kept it in their own little box, no issue from me. 0. If somebody wants to fight, I don't care. Like, go for it. It's not even like a new thing. Like there was celebrity boxing years ago, right? It's not like it's a new thing. It's just like the next iteration of celebrity boxing. And like celebrity boxing, it will die after a little while. And we'll see something again in 10 years, But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up here because I've got to get up tomorrow and go to the office. So that's going to be fun. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it, guys. I'm going to wrap it. Anyway, I'll try and get one more in before Christmas. Fucking hell. It's not actually that long away, Christmas, to be fair. I'll try and get one in within the next month. How about that? Another stream. And possibly another Undisputed stream as well. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, I'll wrap it up here, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. All that good shit. Hopefully you you guys have all the success in the world. All that good shit. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace out. Adios. All that good shit. Salute.